action.
Hi, my name is Wave Tomas.
And I'm Jake, not from State Farm.
Today we'll be reviewing the 2020 Zhiyun Crane 3S.
And the 2020 Zhiyun Crane 2S.
Let's get into it.
So, the Zhiyun Crane 3S and the Zhiyun Crane 2S. Wave, what can you tell me about them?
So really, Jake, just by the look of things, both of these gimbals are marketed at two different types of shooters. So I feel like the Crane 3S is more so for cinematographers, people that want to rig up their kit, use V-mount batteries, top handles, matte boxes, things like that. It's going to definitely add a lot more weight. The Crane 2S is more for people that really just want to get the job done and run and gun, but still be able to hold a good amount of weight.
Okay, and how much weight does the Zhiyun Crane 3S hold?
The 3S holds on their website up to 6.5 kilograms.
Okay, and how much is that in comparison to the 2S?
In comparison to the 2S, we're looking at about 4.5 kilograms.
There we go.
Yeah.
So now that we got the weight, that one holding how many kilograms?
6.5.
6.5, and this one how many?
4.5.
4.5. What type of stuff can this camera hold? Like, what kind of cameras can this hold versus like what kind of cameras can this hold?
From their website, I mean, we're looking at like red cameras.
For the Zhiyun Crane 3S.
For the Zhiyun Crane 3S, we're looking at red cameras, Canon C200s, Canon C400s.
Okay.
Definitely Canon 5D. Any type of 1DX, Mark II or Mark III, any type of cinema camera, really. Blackmagic, Arri Alexa.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And what about this 2S here?
And the 2S, you can definitely also carry like a 5D or a 1DX.
But no red.
I wouldn't say a red on this one. You can maybe get a Sony FS5, FS7, stripped down, maybe with a monitor, but I wouldn't say anything more than that, maybe with the light lens as well. Perfect. I've also seen some other videos where they had Canon C200 with a light lens on it, so something along those lines.
We got the 3S here, we got the 2S here. Which one to you is easier to use?
I would definitely say that the 2S is going to be the easier one to use.
Okay.
You can straight out of the box just kind of get a quick balance on it, turn it on, and go shoot. Where the 3S, I definitely, even though it has a three-step locking mechanism on it, it still kind of takes quite a bit to balance, because you want to get those big rigs balanced out just right. So it still kind of takes a little bit more time. Not too much time, but definitely more time than the 2S.
Okay. Now, as far as stabilization goes, where would you say, like, as far as ranking, maybe 1 to 10, which setup has a better stabilization, you think, or are they just right there about the same?
For their payload capacities, I honestly got to give it to the 2S. I was able to put, a pretty rigged out setup, even with the matte box and a monitor on it, and it, as long as you balance it right, it does great. With the 3S, again, you definitely had to kind of fine tune it and make sure that it was perfect to not get any of those wobbling issues or any of those vibrations like some of the people with the Blackmagic Pocket Cinema camera say that they've been having. Okay.
So now that we went over, ease of use between the 3S and the 2S, Wave, what can you tell me as far as, camera camera compatibility, for your cameras?
Yeah. As far as compatibility goes, man, they're both honestly way better than the previous series of cranes. I've actually had the pleasure of owning the Crane M, the Crane V2, and the Crane 2 before purchasing the Crane 2S, and none of those were compatible with my Sony cameras at all. Like, I wasn't able to start or stop recording or anything. But with the Crane 2S, honestly, just off the first time using it, I was able to plug the cord in and get full start and stop, capability, and also surprisingly, I was able to zoom in, have my, I think they call it digital zoom on the Sony cameras, but zoom in 2 times,
Zoom in 2 times?
Yeah.
Using the crane?
Using the crane, wow. Yeah. So I don't even have to touch the camera at all, so you don't have to worry about it, vibrating or anything like that. So, and in instances like, let's say you're at a wedding and you're using a 16 mil, you know what I'm saying, you can zoom in and get those tighter shots if need be. With the Crane 3S, it wasn't as easy. I've done the same exact thing, same exact cord, trying to plug it into my Crane. Trying to plug it into my Sony A7 III, which on that one I mostly use the A7S II. I wasn't able to get the same capabilities. I wasn't able to start or stop recording, but maybe it's just some things I gotta, play within the app. We'll see what happens.
So now that we've touched on the compatibility with your cameras, the Crane's compatibility with your cameras, let's go ahead and talk about some of the features that both these Zhiyun Cranes have in comparison to each other.
Yeah, for sure. So when it comes to features, Jake, they both have the same features. As far as like the different modes, so they both have follow mode, they both have pan follow mode, lock mode, the new vortex mode, which I love using all the time. And then, they both have go mode as well, which is also a very handy thing to have, especially if you're doing sports or something like that. Now, as far as like maybe some of the extra features that they added into the 3S, obviously because it's made for bigger gimbals. You have your smart handle here. I did purchase a smart sling kit, which comes with the screen and the different buttons that you can all control straight here from the handle, which the Crane 2S does not have that. They both have the reset follow button here in the front, to where if you just double click it, it'll go back to the follow mode. Same one, here. You'll click and then it'll go straight back to the follow mode. And honestly, I guess you can say that the Crane 3S has an easier battery compartment to kind of access, but on the Crane 2S, you would just, unscrew the handles. So both kind of easy, same type of features, but different in their own ways.
Okay, so now you've talked about the features. What about button layout? Is it easier to press record on the 2S than it is to press record on the 3S? What am I getting myself into, as a videographer or as a cinematographer?
Definitely. As far as record goes, again, I haven't been able to test this one out as far as compatibility with my A7 III, but button layout, I feel like the Crane 2S is gonna, take the cake as far as ease of use. It kind of still has that old school retro joystick right there. You can, still move around the gimbal and the different axes and things like that. You can still, press record right here on the front, go through your different modes, and you have your dial wheel. Now on the 3S, and I'll turn this around so you guys can kind of see here, you still kind of have the same layout, but a lot more weight. So you still have your dial, you still have your different modes and everything like that. On the side here, you will have all of your different follow, lock, pan follow mode, and you also have a reset button. By double clicking that, and it'll reset back to the standard position. But as far as ease of use, only because this one is just way heavier, I say that that one is kind of easier to get to the buttons. They're all kind of
the 2S takes it.
The 2S, yeah.
The 2S takes it, man. The button layout.
Yeah, man, way better.
Too easy. Simple. Complex.
Definitely.
And for our last comparison, we went ahead and did a field test with these two stabilizers. We went ahead and did a walking test trial. We did one running, and then we did another one on a longboard. Right? Got a longboard?
Longboard.
Got the longboard shot?
Got the longboard shot.
All right. Walking test trial. We have the 2S on the left. We have the 3S on the right.
There we go. They both look pretty stable to me.
Yeah, they both look. It almost looks like the 2S looks a
little better, right?
Looks a little better just walking.
And that could be due to it being
windy. The conditions were windy, maybe.
Windy. Also just a lighter rig altogether. It's a little easier to hold. With everything that we had on the 3S today, I would say it's probably somewhere around 10 pounds.
Okay.
So.
And what did we have on what were we pulling on both the cameras?
We pretty much stripped everything down, and we had the Sony A7 III with just a cage. We took off the mat box, we took off the side handle, a few mount batteries, and all of that. So we pretty much gave it a pretty fair comparison.
Okay. And then next we have. All right, we got the 2S on the left. We got the 3S on the right. The running shot. Should we play it again?
Let's play it again.
Let's play it again.
Let's play the. I mean, let's start the 3S before the 2S this time.
Let's start the 3S.
Yeah. Or rewind that effect.
I mean, I almost want to give it to the 2S. Again.
Yeah,
here, let's watch the 3S by itself.
Definitely harder to stay stable with like holding it with both hands.
Right.
I think for the 2S, I was able just to hold it with one hand.
And what mode are you in?
I kept both of them in pan follow mode.
Okay. Now let's look at this 2S one.
Yeah, that one's definitely way better.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. 2020.
Crazy.
Full of surprises. The 2S. As of right now, it's taking it. Now it's time for the longboard shot. All right. So on my left, we have the 2S, and on my right, we have the 3S. This is the longboard shot.
That's the one. Yeah.
Are we giving that one to the 2S as well?
I don't know. Let's see that one more time.
There's the 3S.
Yeah, one more time.
I mean, pretty smooth for the 3S.
That's the one. Yeah. Not straight yet. Definitely easier. Yeah.
I mean, well, which one do you think?
I would say the 2S is
The 2S is smoother?
more
Yeah.
consistently smoother. Yeah.
It is a lot more consistent. All right. And last but not least, we have for you the crane shot. Let's go ahead and check out. The 2S, again, is on our left, and the 3S is on our right. Okay. Well,
It's pretty easy.
let's look at the 2S by itself. Now, did you feel any type of like hesitation at all while using it?
Didn't feel any hesitation with either. I do feel like the 3S, of course, was heavier. Now, I will say this with the monopod, and if you're doing like a wedding or some type of situation where you may want to, get a real high shot or really insinuate that crane shot with the monopod, it'll be way easier to do with the 2S.
With the 2S?
With the 2S, way easier. Yeah.
Okay. Now, what advantages do you think you would have? You have as a as a cinematographer, as a videographer, using the 3S over the 2S, or vice versa. Like
the 3S really just opens up a lot of doors for cinematographers that have bigger payloads or bigger rigs, man. Like a lot of guys are mostly using A7 IIIs and other mirrorless cameras right now. But if you are the type of guy that's been doing this for a while, or you've already invested into Reds or the Arri Alexas or any type of other cinema cameras, then having the Crane 3S is great, especially at the price point, because before this, the only gimbal that you could have was the Ronin 2, which is like a $9,000 gimbal.
Okay, so going back to our test trials, our field tests, do you think that the 3S could have possibly operated a little bit better if the load was heavier?
Yeah, I do. It definitely has a payload that you should stay between.
Okay.
I'm not sure of what the minimum weight capacity was. That's why I wanted to rig it out kind of with the cage and everything like that, just to kind of give it some more weight. But I mean, for something basic, it kind of still gets the job done.
Yeah, so it still gets the job done. It's
Still
really
gets
a
the
hard
job done.
comparison.
It is, yeah.
Both great stabilizers.
In this scenario, though, I would definitely have to give it to the 2S for sure.
Yeah, most certainly. So,
Yeah.
All right. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Check us out. Subscribe.
Again, my name is Wave Thomas.
And I'm Jake, now from State Farm.
and we'll catch you on the next one.
Boom.